Hello, Goldma viewers. Welcome back to our discussion. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome to Goldma Crypto Conversations, where we discuss controversial topics and also educational topics that we feel that may be helpful to just people that are out there looking for knowledge. And our main basis is to teach people what value is and how value is determined and where it's derived. And today we have another discussion that pertains to value. And today we're talking about money. In the words of these young people, shmoney. And today we are asking you, the viewers, and the gentlemen on this panel, is money real? In the sense that, is it real value? If not, why not? If it is, why is it real? Mr. J, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways that I could approach this question. Mm-hmm. First, we have to define what is money. Mm-hmm. That's where we will begin. And I would argue and contend that gold is money. Because money is that which can store value over time, mm-hmm. is a medium of exchange, mm-hmm. and is divisible. Yeah. So I would call gold money, because historically it has a precedence of mm-hmm. having money. Now when you move from defining what money is, mm-hmm. then you have to define what is real.
Yeah.
Real is complicated.
Yeah.
Because it's not only based on perception,
yeah,
but it's also based on what is observable,
yeah,
by more than just one person.
What is measurable as well.
Is measurable. Mm-hmm. So when you put all of that together, yes, money is real. If I put gold on the table, like mm-hmm. this past weekend when I brought gold in the office and I said, hey, here's the gold, guys. Mm-hmm. All of you observed it. It had value with respect to money. He calculated, okay, I calculate this to be this much money, depending mm-hmm. on the weight of it. Mm-hmm. And it was divisible.
Yeah.
And that gold right now, if I was to hold that gold until 30 years from now, it has a high likelihood of having value still. So, and that same gold had value years back. But if I take the dollar that I have right now and get into a time machine and go back to the 1800s,
yeah,
they're going to look at me real funny with this dollar bill I got right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but if I take that gold, that same gold, and go back, mm-hmm. I can go back to the 1700s. Mm-hmm. They got love for me. They got a lot of love for me with that gold. Come on in here, mm-hmm. Mr. Jenkins. Sit down at our bar. What you need?
Yeah.
So no, yeah, that's to answer your question. Money is real because money is gold. Mm. And I'm going to tie it back. And I hate to sound like an infomercial. I hate to do it. But I got to tell the truth. That's what my mama taught me to do. We have to now be able to make gold portable. That's the problem right now. Mm-hmm. Gold is not as portable as paper money. So how do we solve that? Yeah. We solve that right there.
Yeah.
Through cryptocurrency and tokenizing gold. And in the future, soon in the future, Africa will be tokenizing a majority of their mineral resources if the powers that be allow that without coming in with the guns. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay. There's an article that we are going to be ripping apart
whilst
we're discussing this topic. But I just want to also explain that the reason why we're talking about money and whether it's real or not is because we have been cultured to value that piece of paper above the most important things to us, right? Yeah. If you look at music videos right now, you can tell that they're doing their best to just get people to be money driven. You know, when rappers are bragging about their videos and you know, living the life, it's just about stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of paper. Yeah. I've never really heard anyone going, you know, I've got so much property, I'm sending 100 kids to school, and you know, you don't hear about those people. Yeah. I heard LeBron James recently opened a school.
Much respect.
You know, much respect for that. But how many of those things do you hear in music? Very little. So the reason why we think it's important to talk about money is because we need people to understand that we might actually be under the greatest deception of all time.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like a spell. And once that bubble bursts, I don't think you're going to like the way this world is structured. But then it's going to motivate you to actually actively contribute to accumulating the real wealth. And I like what you said when you said gold is the money, which means money is not necessarily the paper, but we've been told to chase the paper and forget the real money. Yeah. Mr. Eddie, I just heard you going, like you want to say something.
No, I love what you said. It's a deception. I mean, with money, you can print as much as you want if you're the government. Mm-hmm. You've been told that it's valuable, you need it for this, you need it for that. Yeah. And when they feel like it, they can print it. Yeah. So I'd like to go back to Mr. J's point about the real money being gold. Mm-hmm. You can't print gold. If there was a 3D printer that printed gold, my God. That would be a reality, but there's no deception in the fact that you cannot print gold. Mm-hmm. You mine gold. Gold is scarce. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the attributes that makes it valuable, because you can't just get it everywhere. Mm-hmm. Besides the fact that also it has real life uses. We use it in computers. NASA uses it for whatever it is they use it for. So it's real. That's a fact. So we've been deceived to believe in something that is, you know, we spoke of the hype man in the other show. You know, they are really good at hyping, and we've had wars over this thing. So well done, sister, by saying that.
Mr.
Biggest deception.
Sorry, Eddie. Yes, Mr. Ruben, do you think money is real? Paper money is real.
Paper, and I like how you have to specify.
Just want to set you up there.
Paper money is real. I think that there is some value to things where two or more people agree to. Mm-hmm. So I suppose there is some reality in paper. And then paper money tends to also be backed by the productivity of the nation.
Yeah.
So we were having this conversation before we started about, well, the US dollar might have lost 98% of its value, but the American people are very, very innovative.
They are.
Right. So there's something about the productivity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing though with gold, is when we're coming in to gold, we don't want to just have static billion bars. They're nice to look at, but there's real productivity. Well, with Goldman, that's what's happening. It's like when you come into this operation, you're having the real money, you have gold, but tied into that is the actual production of gold. So it's not a static thing, it's a living, active thing.
Yes, because that's what they measure in nations. They measure GDP. What is GDP? What do they call that?
Yeah.
Gross domestic production or product. Okay? So when I thought about the business model, I thought about a nation. I thought about, we're going to create a business model that represents a nation, and not necessarily a nation in a physical asset or a physical perspective, but a nation in the mind. a business model that could not be destroyed with a gun. No gun can take away the business model or the idea. The idea will live way beyond Henry Jenkins. The idea has been here for a long time, and I'm only getting in tune with the idea and with the vibration that exists in the atmosphere. So if I'm in tune with the vibration that already been here, that's the truth way before I got here, and it's going to be the truth after I leave. No one can dispute that. They can dispute the fact that that paper has some value beyond what somebody legally says it has domain with. And there is some argument. There is a bit of argument that the fact that the government says it's legal, and then because there's productivity that it represents, there's an argument. There's a strong case that that is a representation of money. But no one is saying, you won't get a learned person to say that that is the real money. A learned, wise one would say, no, this is a representation. This is tender. This is what you tender. So, you know, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. That's how it's been running for centuries. You've been getting fiat currency given to the people who are subject. That's what subjects get. But what does the state get? The state gets the gold. The central banks get the gold. Just do anyone who's listening to this, do your research and find out what is the product of the bank. What is it that they're trying to amass? You will get to an answer that, like you just said, it's going to rearrange the molecules in your mind and make you think about what you're chasing. Are you chasing paper? Are you chasing land? Or are you chasing gold? Or are you chasing knowledge?
Yeah.
Or all three, which is what I would tell someone. Chase all three. And of course, chase your spiritual development. I'm not going to go without saying that also. So I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all go ahead.
Right. The moment that we've all been waiting for. We are now going to carve this turkey of ours.
Come on.
Right. Now, there's an article from a website called goldparty.org. Basically, they say that they are trying to fight, topple, or bring down plutocracy. And they call it giving the government back to the people. So they have an article where they say money is fiction. I'm going to read the first 3 paragraphs quickly. They say most of us are familiar with the children's game of paper, scissors, rock. It is a game of 3-way dominance. Paper covers rock, scissors cut paper, rock smashes scissors. The 2 players simultaneously throw out one or another hand sign. The winner is the one whose sign prevails with respect to other players' sign. A similar relationship governs 3 institutions of power in society. This is interesting. Government, religion, and commerce. Government has the power over commerce because government controls commerce through application of laws and regulations. Commerce has the power over religion. Through the laws of materialistic desire, it can undermine religion's influence in personal life. And then religion has power over government. Religion has the power to legitimize or destabilize government by giving or taking away its moral authority. In our society, however, commerce also has power over government, even if government's power is supreme. The system is out of balance.
Just start right there. My goodness, did you drop it, okay? You dropped some heavy statements right there. We got to stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But to cover what you just talked about, where you said government has power over commerce, But commerce has power over religion. That right there alone, but I'm going to keep going. Religion has power over government.
Yeah.
It's basically going back to the analogy of paper, scissors, rock.
And it's a cycle.
In its cycle. So which one is the paper and which one is the rock and which one is the scissors? Let me hear from y'all about that.
That's a pretty tough one.
Yes.
That's a tough one to decide. But I think ultimately religion will have to be, which one is ultimately takes in the game of rock, paper, scissors? It has to be rock, right?
I think religion is the most powerful.
I do believe that religion is the most powerful. And when I say religion, I'm not just talking about spirituality, just an organized system of beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you choose to believe as a society and whatever takes precedence and also influences the policies that you're going to make as a government, also influences the use of value and what you're going to value out of life.
So it's like materialism is the dominant religion of our time.
Yeah.
So which explains how the entertainers you were talking about chase those symbols of, accumulation or whatever.
We could say that, yeah. Although it feels like the materialistic religion was imposed on us, it wasn't really something that we... but come to think of it, most religions are imposed on people, you don't really choose because they tell you if you don't, then you go to hell.
Come on,
you understand what I'm saying?
It's not like you get taught. It's not like you get to go to the store and it's all on the counter and you get to select.
Yeah.
It's because your mother or your father or someone in your immediate environment taught you that.
Yeah.
You didn't take the time to go to the country of different religions and study under them.
And then decide for yourself.
You didn't get a chance to do that. So we're all influenced. Not just religion, but a lot of different things. We're influenced by our environment. I said this to you guys before. Commerce, economics, rules what's happening in the world. Okay? And I said this to you guys, that this is going to be very controversial. Okay? But where's the root of the economics? The root, the very, very root, one is to be able to survive, breathe, drink some water, and eat. All right? But after you do that, there's that next step. For life to continue, you got to reproduce. And it's instinctual for you to have a relationship with someone other than yourself. That's instinctual. And so what happens is the ego draws you to, and I said this to y'all before, that love, man, that love or that passion, that desire for that companionship will make you blow up some things. It'll make you do some things that you try to get to that money. Because I argue that these wars have been based about money and control of resources. So when you get the money, now you got power that you attract that love and that attention from people because you got this power, you got these resources. So you got some people who are disconnected from that. They're disconnected from that love and that passion. And they just want power. They just want to feel like I have security because I got a majority control of all these different resources. So to bring this all the way back, all of these things are limited. All these different power is perceived. It's only real when it's enforced. You see what I'm saying? So that dollar is real. Ask Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Ask Hussein. You see, when you started taking these resources and you begin to say, I'm going to do something different than what you told me to do, the man with the gun, I'm going to do something different.
Then you have a problem.
you're going to have a problem. Somebody coming to see you.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you need to get your mind right. We're going to keep this U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. And we're not looking for you to switch it up. Otherwise, Trump going to have to send somebody to come see you and get your mind right.
I want to talk a little bit about the part where he said that in some instances you have commerce having power over government. And I think the United States is a perfect example of that. Because, no offense, Mr.
Okay, but I'm going to fight back.
Because, you know.
Fight back a little bit. I'm saying that's
okay.
universal. That's universal, man.
Okay.
You know, you can take that to the church. You can take that to the government. You can take that to the grocery store. You can take that to every part of society. The man who got the most economic power is the man that's calling the shots. Now, there is a debate that the man with the gun gonna tell the man with the economic power what to do. Sometimes. Until he run out of bullets.
Exactly.
You see that?
And then he needs money from.
Now he needs money. So they work hand in hand. The bullet and economic value work hand in hand. Now, what you were talking about commerce, I still say commerce rules and runs the game. They run the game, bottom line. But somebody has to enforce that economic, because some people can say, I don't need that. You know, hey, there have been some dictators and different rulers throughout history who said, keep your money. We come, you know, we gonna do what we want to do in your way. The monks right now, you can't go over there and necessarily use economic power to influence their movements and how they do and what their traditions are. It's not going to work.
That's where religion comes into play.
Okay, there we go.
Is it that they reject the modern economic system, but they have their own dominant economic system? Because an economic system still has to fulfill these functions, right? People have to eat, you know, drink water, and be able to reproduce. Right. So it's just that they have a powerful cultural force. Maybe it's the religion point that you're saying, that they can ward off the sort of influence of foreign sort of religions.
Good point.
And I think also the fact that they value different things, you know, as opposed to the rest of the world. Because if I'm not mistaken, they preach against materialism. So because of that, you can't really dangle gold in their face because it's got no use there. Nobody cares.
I don't know. I'd be. See, that's the thing about the way these. I'm not a religious scholar, but there's always been this trend of powerful people at the top. They have access to certain resources that people within the lower rungs of their society don't. So it could be, and please don't say that I'm suggesting this. I am not, but I'm just alluding to the possibility that for the sanctity or for the security of that movement, the powerful people in that particular place might have to have access to gold.
Okay, we need to move on a little bit.
Yeah, we do. But I just let me just say this one little thing. Let me ask Eddie about this because he's been a bit quiet over there. Eddie, what they're saying, whether you have a disparity, because that's what it says in here, a system out of balance.
Okay.
Balance comes out of the fact that the people can't see. They're blinded. The one thing I want to ask you is, do you think that blockchain technology, if it had market adoption or if it was adopted by the masses of the people, do you think there would be such a disparity of power still?
Actually, I don't think so. What I think with blockchain is the moment you include transparency and everybody actually knows what's happening in the background, and you don't need a religious leader or a government official or whoever to tell you what's going on, or you don't need the Federal Reserve to tell you, oh, we've printed this much, or you cannot audit this. We have a ledger. That's what blockchain basically is. It's a ledger that everybody who's on it can actually view. And if something changes, it updates everybody. So, having said that there's transparency, it means everybody now knows what really is real. You will not have that conflict because everybody is on the same page, to answer your question.
Okay. Go ahead, my sister. Go ahead.
All right. We're going to read on here. He says, he or she, my bad. We think that money has power, but it is only as powerful as its tokens are accepted. Money in the form of paper currency is only a piece of printed paper. In the form of a coin, it is stamped metal. Even if that metal is gold or silver, there is no inherent value in it unless the public believes it has value. Ultimately, what makes the public accept money's value is government. Here we go now. Government declares that a particular monetary token is legal tender.
Not necessarily true.
No. That's what I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, like what this guy is saying. Or lady.
I need to jump in on this one. Look, 2007, 2008 here in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean dollar was legal tender. The Zimbabwean government has a military, a police force that's capable of ensuring the territorial integrity of this country, but Zimbabweans rejected that dollar. In 2009, the government accepted the truth that no one wants
to use this dollar.
So that's how the multi-currency system sort of came into being. So that's a case where people rejected it. So, I mean, it's not practical for the government in some cases to enforce that dollar. Even in America, as mighty as the American army is, if 300 million people decide that we no longer want the American dollar, it will collapse. Right? There are limits to that power. You know, it's not absolute. However, there's a strong argument to be made, of course, that if the government of any territory declares something legal tender, then there's some value of that because they do have the coercive arms of state. You know, taxes have to be paid in that particular currency and so on. But we don't want to make it seem as if their power is absolute. It isn't. The people have power.
All right. But in as much...
I'm sorry, but you know, because somebody's going to watch this and they're going to say, Henry, why didn't you say something about this? And you know better, man. Come on. So I hear y'all, because tonight when they watch this, they're going to call me and say, you didn't say this. The reason why the people rejected the Zim dollar, a part of the reason, can't say the only reason, part of the reason is you couldn't take it outside of Zim and trade it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see? But that wasn't the doing of Zim
the
alone.
Yeah.
You see, it wasn't the doing of the Zimbabweans alone. Somebody had their hand
Somebody with that
in
power.
their cookie jar with some power to say, you know what, we're not going to accept that right there no more. We're not taking that. Now, who has the power to say, your money no good here at the table? That's the person whose house it is. If you at my house and you bring over some food, and all the whole time I've been eating your food, every time you came over to my house, you brought some food, we ate your food, and we traded. You brought some macaroni and cheese, here's some meatloaf.
Yeah.
Right? Now you brought your macaroni and cheese over. I don't want that. I don't want that no more, man. And don't nobody else over here eat that. And you can't get no more food here. Guess what? You're going to be eating that macaroni and cheese on your own. You know what I'm saying? And in a little while, you can't come back in the house. That's what was going on with Zimbabwe. Somebody said, your macaroni and cheese is no good here no more. We can't give you no meatloaf. We can't give you no veggies. And you best believe you're not going to get no money for this. And so when the central banks decide your macaroni and cheese is no good no more, that's the problem. But what if Zim said, you know what? Y'all don't like this macaroni and cheese? Here go a bunch of gold. How you like it now? I guarantee. No, come on over here and sit down real quick, because that's what happened. Mm-hmm. What happened was somebody they didn't have a problem with the gold. Mm-hmm. Gold kept moving. Gold companies kept working.
Well, it's still moving.
Come on now. Mm-hmm. Now that's the truth that I have to speak to that. Mm-hmm. The paper, the Zim paper, had no more value to everybody else. But quiet as kept. Hey, it's all right with that gold, man. Come through the back door. Come around the back door. We're not going to publicize this. As people look at that as an example, people need to understand what's happening with cryptocurrency and how gold is going to play a role, specifically what the GMA token is going to provide you. It's going to provide you the ability to come at the table and someone say, you know what? I don't like that macaroni and cheese, but bring that GMA token you got there. Or bring that gold you got there, because that's what we got. We got gold mines. If people don't know, the gold mines are there. Gold is being produced. So people are going to let you sit at the table, because even through all the sanctions and all the disagreements,
they need the gold.
They want that gold. Now, whether they need it or not, I don't know. But they want that gold. They can trade with you with that gold. They can't trade with you with that. They don't care. That thing is a perceived thing, because they let you in the club. Or you in the club, you can print some paper, and we'll take your macaroni and cheese because you in the club. But anyway, I'm gonna leave that.
Before we jump to that,
okay.
You said money will not have value until the government declares that it's legal tender and whatnot. The question I want to ask is, before 600 BC, when they finally put a stamp on gold and silver to say it's now coin, how were they trading gold? How did the people accept it? Because it wasn't under government before 600 BC.
That's a valid point.
It was not under government. So we're going back to what it was. Basically, it's an illusion. We've been told that we can't do this because the government says so, but it's been done before.
Okay.
But that's the other question that I have for you, Nyaim, and I'm gonna this paragraph has so many things I've got to jump at you for.
Come on.
Okay.
There's a statement. Even if that metal, the metal that is being coined, is gold or silver, there's no inherent value in it. It's all right to sit at a very theoretical level, but we live in a practical world and we have to make decisions.
Yeah.
True.
So if I look at statistics over a long period of time, what am I going to do? I need to make a decision now that's going to impact me 20, 50, 100 years from now. Maybe not me, family. So is it likely that I'm going to decide paper or am I going to go with gold? If it's a practical decision that you have to make, even though you can argue that, a theoretical argument could be made that there is no intrinsic value in gold, that's all right. But here's the information, here's reality, make a decision right now that's going to impact your family 100 years from now. What are you going to do?
You're going to choose gold. Okay, we are sadly out of time, but make no mistake, we are coming back with part 2. Because this right here is
just getting started.
It's just getting started. But to conclude, I like what you both said, that eventually you have to make a choice. Where are you going to store your value? Are you going to rebel and lose out and leave nothing for the next generations to come? Or are you going to take something that has consistently held value over centuries and centuries and use that to store your value? And to add on what you said, when you said how were people trading before the government was issuing value. And it's happening right now with cryptocurrency. They're not the ones issuing it. But how many countries, I know in Australia, there are now a significant number of hotels, restaurants and whatnot that are taking Bitcoin as a means of payment from tourists to boost tourism, because now they don't have to get the Aussie dollar or try and swipe their cards or things like that. They simply have to transact using their wallets. So there you go. All right, we're coming right back. For those that are going to depart, and not watch part 2, of which I do not recommend that. Please subscribe to this channel. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to click the notification bell if you really want to know. We do put out content on a daily basis. So till next time, and till part 2, it's bye-bye.